Buddy, we're on location.
We're live.
I'm close to the edge here. I'm gonna move a little bit in here.
You already switched seats with me.
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like being on the edge. Sorry, there's an air compressor roll in the background. What it's doing is it's holding the joints of the countertops, so countertops are going in. But Chris drove all the way over here to the swamp and get a little sneak peek, a little inside access to the LZ project. How's it looking?
There's a lot. There's a lot that's been done.
Yeah.
You have that whole visionary thing that you can see everything. I just sort of like it looks like a mess to me right now. But you can tell a whole lot of work's been done.
Yeah.
I was telling Bob I like the way they kept this and then stained it darker, stand out against the white.
Yeah,
know
big
what's
controversy going on on the internets for dealing. You know, you ruined it. You know, lots of this is like Republican versus Democrat here. You know, it's like half the people love it, half the people hate it. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. I would have preferred the ceiling to be gray, you know, to offset the walls, but.
Right.
I do like the wood beam stain. It does look really nice. It was a good move. We hang the chandeliers and we hang the giant fan we're putting there. When the railing gets in, it'll all make sense for people. Yeah. They're struggling with it right now. It looks very sterile. It's very gray and white, you know. But there's a lot more, you know, black going in here. When the cabinets are in, the railings are in, the cladding is done, the carpeting's in. It'll make a lot of sense. Now, this is their style. You know, my style is more like modern French country, a lot more stone and wood, more like, you know, white oak and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is their style. Very modern, very clean, everything's very angular. You know, people have different style. But I think it'll all make sense when people, when they see it all finished product.
I saw them in here earlier with you. What are they thinking?
Oh, they're so fired up. Yeah. This kind of thing, you know, doesn't. All that's going in here is not super attainable, right? So for you to find somebody who has access and information and knows about all this different stuff. Now, I don't know tile, I don't know carpeting, I don't know railing, and so, you know, I have had to bring in some expertise in order to put it all together, but. Like the part that people can't see yet, you know, we had the one big concession was we did sort of mid to lower grade cabinets. So the cabinets are nice, you know, they're not up to the standard that everything else is here. But like all the appliances and how the AV system is going to work and the closet system, all that stuff is really top notch. It's really cool. We figured it would cost for somebody to do this project, especially in the time we're doing it. It would cost them about $1.1 million to do this, and we're doing it for a fraction of that because I'm able to buy most of the stuff at cost, and then of course Mike and I are donating all of our labor.
It's a lot of labor.
Oh yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollars in labor.
It's a lot of labor. And somebody mentioned they look like it was how close were you to the edge? We got at least 3 feet for you. You're fine. If he were to fall backwards out of his chair, he'd still be fine.
I'm going to fall this way.
Yeah, fall that way.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's get to some chat here. We have 481 people watching right now.
Oh, nice.
That's bigger than usual.
It's
awesome.
the LZ effect.
Yeah. This question came up last week. Matt, any updates on helping out with the new house build for Cletus McFarland? He's looking for recommendations.
No, I was just talking to Adam about that. I'm not sure. I may have a conversation with him. I'll have Adam connect me. I've met him once, but I don't really know him very well. Yeah, I don't know. I think we may do, you know, if I was going to do some things, maybe I would do a few projects there, but certainly not going to do a full build, you know, like this. Not anytime soon.
In the garage. Perry Ocean Auto Designs. Matt, question. I'm in the middle of installing CSU. How long should I wait to apply EXO, and how many layers of EXO?
So according to the people at G-Technic, my friend Billy from Presidential, you either put EXO on right away, so lay the CSU down, go right to EXO, or, you know, I'd wait at least 3 hours. In a perfect world, I'd wait overnight. Let it cure, let it set up. With coatings, you always can benefit from giving it more cure time. And so I don't know how much validity there is, how much testing's been done on whether you do like do it within an hour or not.
But one layer of exo?
Yeah. Can you go make sure that's not Trevor down there vacuuming? As long as it's not the, he may be vacuuming out the whole frickin' closet.
All right, let's see. Also, keep me posted for the PPF on the cabinets. I'm your guy. Happy Friday. Is Matt the one using wild emojis on the Instagram captions?
No.
Are we entering a new era?
I don't even, no emojis. I use full sentences, full words.
All right, let's see here. Matt, are you doing TJ Hunt's new shop? Roy wants to know.
I haven't talked to him about it, but probably not. That's another big, huge project. For us to do this in the future, I mean, we would do simpler stuff. For us to do a project this big, unless it's my house, unlikely for us to do something this big. I mean, we're realistically, 6 months of planning, 2.5, 3 months of work, and that's a huge investment. Yeah.
Baz says hello from Ireland. He's tuning in. Thanks,
Nice.
Baz. Troy Howard, will those beams be painted black?
No. No, they're stained. It's a faux stain so it'll make sense. The table is that color. The bench down there by the window is that color. So it's it's a warming accent color, as Laurel might say. She probably has some other term for it. But I promise, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing will make sense. It's hard. I realize most people have a hard time. You were even saying this earlier in envisioning. This is. I can see it looking at plans, looking at the house. Laurel has that gift as well, and so not everybody has that foresight or can see it. I can picture exactly in my head how it's all going to come together. But the thing I can't do is I don't know how to shop for this stuff. I don't know how to pick the color. When somebody explains it to me, then I can get it.
Rainier says greetings from South Africa. That's awesome.
All right, let's see here. Hold on 1 second.
All right. I gotta. And yes, we are having some Wi-Fi issues, but it's because they're working on it downstairs. So sorry for skipping around a little bit here.
So we sold the building on 42.
Okay. Nice.
2 hours, I'll be available. Yeah, so that's sold. Executed contract.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, barring some weird situation.
Nice. Greetings from South Africa from Rainier. Super chat here, $20 US. Love the evolution of the channel, said Tongs LI. Makes you different and allows the content and audience to grow.
Well, I think the key is to, when I started the channel, this is me sharing life, and sharing obsessions. It's not themed. Like, this isn't like themed. Like, the garage thing is not themed. This is what I do. And so I've kept that pretty authentic and consistent from the beginning, in that I don't come up with things to do for this would be about as contrived as we get, but I'm interested in figuring out the Havens metal sink and Waterstone faucets and Fulger Milano appliances, and figuring out, is this something that I'm interested in, in for me, and then can I provide some value? So there's become a bit of a business element of the whole thing, but really it's just sharing what I'm passionate about. That's what the channel's been. So thanks for saying that.
10Head31 wants to know, what do you think the end date for the house will be?
The original target was February 1st. I think we may need another week and a half, something like that, just because we're waiting on some the vendors or the contractors to come finish things. But I think we're going to be pretty close to finish on schedule.
Let's see. K-Ping says, LZ compound interior is looking great. Are you guys going to get the exterior up to OG spec as well? It looks like the welcome center to a safari right now.
No, yeah, that's not in the budget. He may at some point when he updates the whole compound, but that's not part of the plans. We call this the sleeper build. It's it's an old janked up car that on the under the hood it's all super shiny and amazing. The interior is beautiful. Yeah, but it's probably $50,000-$60,000 to do the exterior, and that's not in the cards at the moment.
Jim, you wants to know, hey Matt, have you tried Adam's detailing bucket?
No, I saw it. I think it has a bunch of things that I don't know that I'm really interested in, but maybe we'll try to get one and try it at some point.
GMV says, happy Friday from the PH. Where's the PH? I don't know what that means. Philippines? Saturday at 3 a.m. here. Oh, thanks for tuning in.
That would make sense, yeah.
Hey Matt, Blake wants to know, when is the railing going in?
I just sent an email to Nadia, who is with Illuminate, who's doing the cladding. I think next week will probably be cladding, and then hopefully the following week doing the railing.
Ben wants to know, does the Fireball tool bench vise have any place in your world?
I don't know what that is. Fireball, not Fireball the detailing company. It doesn't sound good. Fireball, hand. I don't know. How much is that thing? Oh, it's nice.
$1,650.
Yeah.
Interesting. Designed in Spokane, Washington. Maybe.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've always done, or always looked at Wilton's, and then of course we have our anodized aluminum version from Orange Vice. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Thanks for the tip.
All right, Hexator is with you. He says, I love the white roof for the dark beams. Simon says, welcome from Australia. Love your vision and execution by your team. Zwears, I wish this podcast was live more than once a week. I look forward to listening every Friday. Put the AirPods in, it makes my day go so much faster. Love the content and the knowledge.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to go pretty heavy on podcast, the second half of this year. Maybe last quarter of this year. And we'll continue to do live stuff, and then we'll add in several versions of it, where it's not live. So I'm excited to further develop that, build the studio. I mean, that's what I'm most excited about, building the darn podcast studio, spending some money, build something cool. But I think that a podcast, my style, it lends well to podcast. The tricky thing is if you don't have guests, then you've got to come up with themes, and you run out of themes to talk about. So I'm not sure. I like the idea of just kind of doing it and not really scheduling it, but we'll see. We're going to figure it out as time goes on.
321 Speed Shop says he has a lighting question for you.
Okay.
Recently went through and upgraded my kitchen lighting.
Yep.
All that's left is under cabinet lighting. Mm-hmm. I have puck lighting currently, but it's from 2008 and missing its covers.
Yeah.
What would you recommend for this type of lighting?
If it's from that time, then he probably has wiring, I would guess. In my kitchen, I do the same stuff we have for garage lighting. Do that under there, which is Max Light. It's the best quality under cabinet lighting I found. Another company to look at is Look Lighting, which is by Hayfla. The thing I don't love about Look is that it requires a ballast, so you need a box that needs to go somewhere in one of the cabinets. Where ours doesn't need a ballast, you can just direct wire it. And then you can get it in whatever color temp you need to match the lighting in the kitchen. A lot of people, like, my kitchen is wrong. The under cabinet lighting is 5K, and the above cabinet lighting, the normal in-ceiling lighting is 3,500. I just haven't gone and made the swap yet. But yeah, I check out the Max Light stuff on our site, which is in the garage section under cabinet lighting, and it's really, really good.
All right, let's see. What's the biggest lesson you learned so far on working on this project?
The big lessons for me have been, first, how to show up in somebody else's house and to be a bit more gracious, meaning we all showed up. Me, Mike, and Mike showed up here as the superior, organized, obsessed people. And so I feel like maybe we're not intentionally, but talking down a bit. And so learning how to take care of the people that we came to visit. And that was the first lesson. Second lesson was the discussion about creature comforts and not really presenting that very well, and me not explaining the obsession that goes into me setting up my weights and all the people probably watching this understood what I was getting at, or making sure I had steaks, a grill, cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the kitchen out, spending hours and hours just getting things prepared, going the extra mile to make sure that this place was at least acceptable enough to survive. And then the third is learning how to collaborate with another, even though Adam and I have been friends for a long time, we still haven't quite figured out how do you integrate something like this that is so off of what he does. This is what we do. And so how do we include the other collaborator, the other content creator? How do we include them in this thing? And that's proved to be challenging, because what he builds cars and drifts and races, and how does that connect to this house, without coming across as, hey, he's just building this rich mansion thing. So those have been the three biggest lessons. All the other stuff, I'm excited to play with the Blue OS system in a house again. I'm excited to play with some of the appliances and stuff like that, the Perlick stuff. So I'm sure there's more lessons to be learned on individual products. This 100% solidifies DMF. DMF is the lighting solution. Lutron is the control solution. I'm a big proponent of separate integrated systems. So I don't need all of my stuff to communicate with each other. Lighting, as long as my lighting system communicates with itself, as long as my audio system communicates with itself, I don't need to connect my microwave to my home system. I don't need that.
Jacob wants to know, how big is this house? Square footage?
It's 2,500 square feet. It's really a single bedroom with this loft, so there'll be another bed here. But it's a single bedroom. It's a 2.5 bath. It's roughly 2,500 square feet.
Spencer, our buddy up in the Dakotas, is currently ceramic coating a John Deere tractor.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
Was hoping to win the garage giveaway so Matt can ride around some four-wheelers and ride horses here. Maybe next time, Spencer. That's awesome. Let's see. Ben says, initial design for new home came back based on my input, and it's close, but I have 20 to 30 items of discussion for them. Mm-hmm. Am I going to scare them away, hitting each point in a detail in a reply email?
It depends on who you're working with. Do they enjoy that kind of feedback? Do they like it when people are decisive, or do they like it when they get to make all of the decisions? And hopefully you have a good practitioner that is really appreciates that sort of input, especially if you approach it, hey, it's not you're wrong and I'm right. It's I'm guessing they're going to take that pretty favorably. And hey, thanks for letting the more feedback you give us, the more we can get done.
Chad wants to know, what do you think of Adam's new air-cooled Porsche?
Yeah, I've obviously considered getting an air-cooled Porsche a bunch of different times, and I think I don't know that I would ever go down that path after going through the E36 experiment with me, and that's a 96. Going even further back seems even more difficult. I don't know. I mean, his is a pretty special version of the car, and I think if you go down that path, unless you're going to spend $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 on the car, on the shell of the car, and then to spend another couple of $100,000 to make it really amazing. There's a lot of other things in this world I'd rather have than that. So I think the air-cooled market is to go the level I would want to go to, is kind of priced itself out of the realm of possibility for me, and maybe not possibility, because you can always figure out how to make it happen, but the desire, what you would need to go to in order to get that level, I don't know. I just don't think it's. And then you're talking Singer and Gunther Works and stuff like that. Roof. I'd be much more inclined to buy a roof, than I would be to go down that path of buying one, at least at this point.
The Wilson 87 says, can't wait to see the whole project come together, but I'm super stoked to see the TV audio setup.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm taking everything in my being, not going down there and start drilling holes right now. We're close. I mean, we'll probably be doing it in a week or so.
JSET says hello from the Netherlands. Do you carry a pocket knife or a multi-tool? Either or both.
I don't. I want to, but I don't. I aspire to, but and then every time I do it,
Which would you carry?
Chris Reeve.
Knife.
Chris Reeve Sabenza. It's Sabenza, probably the small. What is it? I forget what the nomenclature. It's Sabenza. The one's like the 21. I think that's the big one. I have the little one and the big one. That's what I would like to carry, but I don't. Carry my phone, my wallet, and whatever key to whatever car I've got.
Ryan from Spotless Ride says, greeting from Toronto. Loving all the videos and progress that's coming together. Amazing. My question is, how do you feel you're doing numbers-wise with the video view counts and increase in subs, etc.?
Yeah, I think we're on track. What do we start with this project with? 400,000?
460 or so.
Yeah.
It's like 440.
Yeah, 440,000. We're at 570,000 roughly. It's 130,000. Think how long did it take me to get to 100,000 subscribers? I'm pretty pleased with it. I mean, would I would love to have gone viral and gain 500,000 people? Sure. Could that have happened? Maybe. But that I think we have realistic views and realistic. It was kind of a half joke of, hey, help us get it to 1 million. I think we'll get to 1 million this year. We have a lot of cool projects coming up. We're going to really chase it, continue to advertise to try to find more like-minded people. That's a big focus for us. I think it's not about that number just opens up doors. Just like when you get to 100K, it opens doors. When you get to 500K, it opens doors, even though it really doesn't mean anything. Because you could have, there's people that have millions of subscribers that get 1,000 views because they don't have stuff that's relatable, or they bought the channel somehow. I think we're on track.
We have a super chat from Drifty Jacob, $4.99. Hey Matt, what hardware do you use to connect your MacBook to a display? I'm going back to school soon and want to dial in my home desk setup.
So my setup at home is different than the garage. So my setup at home is dual LG 5K monitors. And I have a, what's that company? OWC. They have, I think, one of the best Thunderbolt docks because what you need, usually the Thunderbolt docks don't have as many connections as I need. So this one has 1 on the front, I think 3 on the back. And so I have the, I need 1 Thunderbolt or at least USB-C for my DAC, my digital analog converter. And then I've got the Rain Design M tower, so my MacBook can slide in, vertically. I plug the 1 Thunderbolt in that connects to the OWC Thunderbolt dock, and then that connects to the the DAC and then the 2 monitors. And then that DAC connects to my LYD speakers and my Sub 9 from Dyne Audio. Now my computer setup at the garage is a single Apple Pro display. What's that display called? The $6,000 one? Yeah. Pro XDR display. And that one's just connected. I have the same Rain Design M tower. I have the Intel laptop there, not the M2 Met laptop, and so that is single. I don't have a need for a dock there. So I have Thunderbolt connected to the display, and I think, do I run a single, and then I run a USB-C into my NAD because that's only a single monitor.
All right, let's see. Obsessed Garage asked people to let us know where in the world they're tuning in from. So we have UK, Philippines, Colorado, Northern California, Montreal, Baltimore, Michigan, the Netherlands, from LZMFG, so Brandon's here somewhere on campus.
Oh, cool.
In Ohio, let's see. In Ohio, close to Esoteric, says Dax. Do you have any basement projects coming for those of us up north?
No.
We don't have basements done here.
A big project that I have coming up that I think people are going to like is Evo Stereo, and I'm going to do it my darn self. That's going to be fun. So I'm going to do Dyne Audio MD102 tweeters, the 1-inch ESO Tech tweeters in the A pillar. I'm doing Dyne Audio ESOTAR, 6.5, they're really 7-inch face woofers in the doors. Do a lot of sound treatment in the door, rewire that. I'm going to do Audison Bit 1 Virtuoso, connect to the Audison Voce, was it 5.1 HD? 5.1K HD, I think is the model number. And then I'm doing, I don't know if I can fit two 12s, but I've ordered two ESOTAR Dyne Audio 12-inch woofers. I might only do one and so Mike and I are going to do the system. It's going to be fun. So we're going to do it ourselves. The thing I struggle with doing an audio system is I got to ship the car somewhere. It sits there for months. I'm just going to do it my darn self. It's been a long time since I've done that. And I'm either going to do the Sony, I'm going to find another RSX GS9 head unit, or I'm looking for an old Kenwood Exelon maybe to be the head unit. I want single DIN, I don't want double DIN. Just want to drop in single DIN, leave everything else alone. But I'm going to do a stereo in the Evo. It's going to be fun.
Dusan says greetings from Serbia. Nice. Joachim wants to know, hello from Finland. How much AI is coming in the house?
None. Yeah, none for this house.
Rui, I can't see that flag. I think it's the UK.
What would you want AI? What would you want it to do?
Joachim, tell us what you would want, sure.
Would you want it to turn on the oven? Would you want it to turn off the light?
Warm up your toilet seat for you almost.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's where I think people get ahead of themselves, and that's why I don't like home automation. Like, what do I need to automate? I like to keep it simple.
Because here with the lighting, I remember seeing in a video, there's basically a control. You can hit it once and it shuts out all the lights.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, there'll be switches. There'll be one in the master bedroom or two in the master bedroom with all off. We'll do an all off here, or you just say, ask Siri to take care of you. Because the Lutron app communicates through, either Android, whatever bullcrap Android people use. What do you guys use? You say, hey, Android, help me out here.
No, I don't use
Amazon,
it.
hey, Alexa.
Hey, Google. You say, hey, Google.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
I don't know.
It's always a copy.
Yeah. Apple steals everything. Let's see, Rob wants to know, are you guys doing any lighting inside the closets or lights pointing towards the closets?
No, I haven't headed down that path yet. Just overhead lighting. So there's some shadowing in there, but you're going to grab a shirt, getting out of there. So I think we're good. But there is some we can order a version of it, or we router it out and do hateful of lighting. But it's something I haven't gone down that path. It adds a huge expense, huge complication as well. You got all these ballast and stuff to deal with.
Travis Hawthorne, our buddy from Lakeland, says, what's going on, guys? Have you started on the new warehouse?
Yeah, we're working on getting our occupancy. By ballast, I mean driver. It's driver for LED. I don't know. You can tell us where we're at on that.
Yeah, we haven't. We've got some of the shelving in there, Travis. We're waiting on occupancy. Ken is getting the last of that done this week and next week, so we're getting closer. It's always something else that comes up once you fix one thing. Mikey says, if you're not a Hex member, become one. It's well worth it. I find it very therapeutic. Thanks again, OG.
Nice.
DP says, great series. Can't wait to see what you do with the AV gear in there.
Yeah, it's going to be simple, so don't get too excited. Really simple, really organized. It's going to be awesome. I had limitations here, and then I wasn't allowed to do a bunch of floor standing speakers and stuff. Colette and Laurel vetoed that one real quick, and so I'm sticking it to them by doing the biggest, most giant on-wall speakers I could find. It's going to be nice. This house is not particularly well suited for it. And no, we're not doing any acoustic treatments or anything like that. We're going to have to rely on just the simple couches and rugs and stuff, or throw room area rugs to help us out.
Let's see. Simon says, do you have any plans to expand outside of America? We need Obsessed Garage in Australia.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm working on that right now as we speak. We have a trip planned to Toronto, so we're going to Toronto to view and look at a distribution facility that we're planning on doing. And then I think later this month I have a call set up with some of my potential Australian relationship that I'm considering, and so hoping to be in Australia probably fourth quarter of this year, and hoping to be in Canada summertime, and then we'd first quarter of next year UK and EU.
Lots of people in the chat praising Fireball tools here. 3 or 4 people. Those devices are insane. They're legit. I have to give that one a try. Dylan says, hey Matt, if you were in your mid-20s, deciding between a 2019 C43 and a 2019 S5 Sportback, which would you choose and why?
I don't like either one of those. I just think you'd be happier with like a 3 Series, a 340i or something like that, especially since you can get all-wheel drive and necessary in BMWs now. Yeah, I'd probably choose the Audi in that choice. It's just the problem with the Audi and the Mercedes. You're gonna be bored with it pretty quickly. You know, Mercedes don't handle very well. The rear suspension, the rear end of those cars is not great. They're for going straight. And then the Audi, every time you go around the turn, it feels like you're carrying a load of bricks in the front of the car. Massive understeer, and so it's just you lose a lot of the fun. But both those cars look great. Put some wheels on them, detail them. But I think the driving experience is going to be the struggle. The steering feel, the handling is going to be a struggle for you in pretty short order. I would guess the Audi is probably going to sound better, because I think that C Series has some sort of turbo 4-cylinder versus a supercharged. I don't know a whole heck of a lot about these.
Aaron Lee Mitchell says, hello Matt from the UK. Nice, thanks for joining us. More Fireball praise here. Next level devices, okay. Hey Matt, when do you see content from the new building will be coming? We'll be getting more of Bryce.
I think new building content will probably start in early March, is likely when we'll start messing around. We have to go do...
You gotta finish this.
We gotta do Lena's Kitchen.
Lena's Kitchen.
We're going to Helen. We'll be back and working, starting to plan for the new building. Then we're going to Santa Barbara. And then
Fred's Garage.
And then we're going to Toronto, and then we're on the new building. So April-ish will be when we'll start to really hit it hard. So I'm going to start planning and structuring and working on how it's going to look next month when I finish this, and then we'll start ordering stuff and figuring out how we're gonna build it.
Rainier says, I've missed the uploads. I hope you guys are back. Yeah, let's see, there was one posted, yesterday? Yeah. And then when's the next one coming?
I'd say tomorrow or Sunday.
Saturday or Sunday, so another one this weekend. Any updates on you guys setting up in UK/Ireland?
Yeah, so I said that would likely be first quarter next year.
Let's see. Tagga says, let's just say the guy at Fireball Tools is like Matt is for detailing. He is for fabrication. All right. Let's see. Love the ceiling. That's good. Another vote for you there. When will Mike F show the GT3 RS? I want to see his version of a wash and talk.
Yeah, I don't know. Soon. Maybe
He did one with his truck before, right?
When we go up and do his outdoor kitchen, we'll make sure we get him on some wash and talks,
Philippe says, greetings from Ontario. Paul, I've always been impressed with Matt's leadership, especially OG's COVID response. As a current warship captain, I'd love to hear Matt speak about his approach to the leadership. Looking forward to OG Canada. Thanks, Paul.
I've been talking a lot about that inside the Hex recently, and I think the key metric or key thing to do in leading is learning when it's time for you to take a level up. And right now, what I'm in the process of working on is figuring out how to take the weight of being the value provider to you, the audience, being the sole value provider and sole generator of sales, if you will, and transition the weight of that to 6 or 8 other humans, other people. And so I'm looking to level up our leadership team to be thinking more strategically on how to generate a sale rather than just receiving an email, receiving a garage design inquiry, receiving an order to ship out, and then having them be thinking more proactively. Like, for example, when I'm going to put those speakers on the wall there, first of all, are we going to be selling those speakers? And if we are, do we have enough in stock? And if we don't, what are we doing about that? And then what's our future marketing strategy? How are we posting it on Instagram, Facebook? How are we letting you know about it? How are we adding value to the audience, to the customer base? Not ramming it down their throat, not making a bunch of goofy product videos only, but how are we letting people know how it could function, how it could work, and how it could improve their lives? And so I'm really working on not the full transition, but the transition of a lot of the ownership, and we're doing that a lot through individual goals on individual products. So we're going to commit to things. Are we committed to making more people know or more aware of our vacuum system or of our DMF lighting? And then is our product page, is it creative enough? Is it answering the questions that people have? And then really engaging, getting the next layer of leadership at Obsessed Garage, engaging their people, and getting them to level up. And one of the things we also recognized in all these conversations that I've been having with leadership, we've been doing a 30-minute timed meeting with each of the leadership, the main departments that are doing this lead generation or creating value for you, the customers. I recognize that we have a prioritization issue in that everybody's priority is to do their job, but the problem is everybody's job is just receiving. I've got a bunch of emails. I need to answer those emails. I've got a bunch of products to ship out. But what about the next product to ship out? What about the next email that you would like to receive? How are we engaging all these new people that we have? How are we going to capture and show them the value in some of the things that we offer? And then how are we going to, make it as seamless as possible for the end user to make a purchase? And so I'm really working on that and learning how to lead that and steer the ship, because to this point I've largely built the ship. And so if we're going to be traveling around, I'm going to be traveling around all over the place doing these big projects and collaborating and doing podcasts with other creators. And I think when we get closer to that 1 million subscriber mark, I think it opens a lot of doors that if maybe I hire some sort of talent rep or something like that, they can get me in on other people's podcasts and do some collaborating. I think when we get closer to those big numbers, it opens those doors up for a lot of people to say, hey, who is this guy? And my job is to go share the brand and share obsession and share passion for what we do. So that's my next level up and working on leading men and women toward creating a really great organization.
We have 2 super chats here. One from Vince Morella, $10 US. I think you're gonna like this one. This is
okay.
Good. Guys, easy with these closets are so easy to install talk. I installed the OG closets last year. My wife thought I was Superman. She watched last night's episode and she's no longer impressed. Sorry, Vince.
Shoot, that's funny. Sorry about that, buddy. No, I'm trying to sell these things here, I gotta sell some closets and tell people how it is pretty darn easy to do. So.
Don't let your wife watch those videos, Vince. David Pilot, I always screw that up, sorry, David. Super chat, his first one ever. Matt, happy Friday. The Core 59s I got from OG continue to amaze me. They sound incredible. Mm-hmm. Would adding the Core sub blow me off my couch?
Oh God, yeah. The Core sub is the best part of the whole darn system. It is insane. I sent my friend Doug Perry. Remember Doug was the Drivers Club guy who is very discerning. He is OG spec to the T. He's the one who introduced me to Rytec doors, showed me. What was the coffee contraption he had? What was that?
Oh yeah, he had a really nice. It was like
He had like triple, multi-level filtration,
it was built in.
Yeah. He's he had his process dialed. He basically built Drivers Club. Same thing I do. It's like I want it great for me, so how can I make it great for me, and then how can I then provide value to others? He actually sold that to Haggerty. So I think that Haggerty owns that facility now, and they've turned it into like a club of sorts. But anyway, Doug bought Core 59s as his computer speakers for now. So he has a MacBook with a 27-inch monitor, and then he has two giant Core 59s, and then has the Core Sub, and he was going crazy about the Core Sub. The Core Sub is awesome. I think what I'm going to do is I want to get two Core Subs for my home theater and take out the Sub 6s and put Core Subs in instead.
Luis says, hey Matt, I've been following for a few years now. I'm from Portugal, but at the moment living and working in Germany. Love the work that you guys are doing in LZ's house. Keep up the amazing work. Thanks. Ian says, with regards to lighting, what's the best K that you would recommend?
So it depends on your environment. I'm wishing I did 4K in here. These are 3500.
Okay.
So you got to be careful, because if you go too far, then it just gets too blue. And because of the blue hue, there's a blue tint to this extra white paint. I think it's good that we have a little softening, with the yellowish light of 3500. So the Helen house is very warm, very brown, very yellow, and so going from 2700 to 3K made a pretty big difference. My house, this house, very sterile, very clean, very modern. I did 3500, and then so the house probably calls for 4K, but 3500 helps to soften it a bit, make it a little more comfortable, palatable. I think 3K or 3500 is the sweet spot. In your garage, you want 5K. It's just better, better for working on stuff, better for detailing in general. But I think most of the time in your house, if you're hardcore accustomed to like traditional lighting, incandescent bulbs, and you're making a move, to go to 4K would be a huge mistake. So be careful you don't go too far. Now, the other thing you'll start to recognize is that cheaper lights are very inaccurate. They tend to be much bluer. And so if I got a cheap 3500K, it would look closer to 5K in here of what a 5K Cree or DMF or something higher end looked. And so keep that in mind, that if you're going high end, if you're going waveform, Satco, if you're going Cree, Satco isn't really high end, but mid to high end. If you're going DMF, you're going Utopia lighting, stuff like that. You just want to be careful not to understand that it's quite a bit yellower. So 4K Cree, it feels a lot yellower than 4K Lithonia. So keep that in mind. But I think in your house, it's either 3 or 3500. This is all 3500.
So if you look over there, there's some that are still covered, and those look like completely different.
Well, that's blue tape. Yeah, blue tape over.
Those look like 4K.
Yeah.
Let's see, Matt. Oh, his name is Matt as well. I know Matt has dismissed the big boy pressure washers, but they seem to work good for Vermeerji car care on YouTube. Any plans to test one now that they're coming to the USA?
No. There's no point. I know exactly what it is. I can take one look at it and know exactly what it is. Active is going to be better than them. So what did they do? They copied Active. They couldn't do Active's 5 plunger, so they did a 4. So they have 4 plungers. You can tell a company like Big Boy doesn't have an original thought. They're just looking at what everybody else is doing and then doing something else. I talked to them at SEMA. You could just tell. They had no idea that the shelf mount system, where that came from. They just saw that other people were interested in it. So they're doing decent plastic fit and finish. So they're investing the money in the shell, but the engine is still garbage. It's still a really crappy, Chinese-made cheapo unit, internally. And they're not being honest with what it is. That's why I like at least James from Active saying, here's what you're getting. We have a certain amount of money to spend. We're going to make the Active 2.0. We're going to make it slightly better. It's still a sealed unit. It's not serviceable, but we upgraded some things like the inlet connection. We upgraded the head of the pump, but only so far. Otherwise you end up costing more than a Krensla, and they're not trying to compete with that. So they're trying to get similar performance. So I don't know why you would buy that unless you're stuck on, Australian voltage. I don't know why you would buy that over a Karcher or a Active. They're just, this is, 30 years of obsessing over products. And I can just tell, just looking at it, seeing it, and touched it at SEMA, just know. Why would you buy a big boy blower when you could buy the Master Blaster, which is way better? Why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense.
Speaking of Active, the 2.3 is on the way to us.
Yeah, so we'll have the 2.3 to test. Yeah.
Please, guys, take care. Don't fall down. Thank you. We'll try our best. Hey, Matt, congrats on the new building. How long of a time frame do you think it'll take to get the entire thing to OG spec? Looks really nice, but it's the furthest thing from your standards. That's true.
I think probably 3 years. That would be a conservative estimate. I think 3 years would be a good estimate of having like every room and every square inch of it dialed in.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I think we're going to make a pretty big dent in the next 18 months, 12 to 18 months of making it really cool. Parking lot's already dialed. The exterior, we'll get that painted this year. We'll get our signage dialed, and I think that we're going to get the studio built, my office built, and then we need the studio first. We need the warehouse opened up quite a bit. So the studio and warehouse are priority. We need the studio built for all our filming, videoing, stuff like that.
Preston says, hello from Iowa. I'm planning to slowly upgrade my shop and garage. What should be the first thing that I should do?
First thing's lighting, I think. Well, first thing would be painting. So you want to paint it. And then I normally do lighting. And then flooring. Then cabinets. And then your accessories, your pressure washer and stuff like that.
Rob wants to know, what are your thoughts on a detailing cart that you can wheel out of storage area to make detailing more efficient?
Yeah, I'm going to really work on that. The problem with a normal garage, even today, the garages I have aren't big enough. I feel like I would need 5,000 square feet in order to have a place to put my darn cart. I would rather not have to deal with the cart the 98% of the time that I'm not using it, rather than having a cart the 2% time I'm using it in a tiny, normal size garage. Even OGHQ, having a darn cart, it's annoying. It's in the way, there's nowhere to put it. But I'm going to be working on a really amazing cart with Rousseau. We're going to make something sick, something so different than what already exists.
Okay, speaking of Rousseau, our buddy Philippe in Canada says, Matt, I went to the Montreal car show last weekend and Rousseau cabinets were there. I was sold. I'm going to upgrade soon to get some quality products.
Well, just hang on. Wait till I get there and buy it from us. We'll help you design it. Yeah. Or actually, you can buy it from us now. We'll just ship it direct right from Montreal.
GMV says, when will we see a drift collab video?
This weekend we're going to shoot it. It'll be on the LZ channel, so make sure you're subscribed to LZ Adam LZ channel, and we're going to be doing a drift instruction, teaching them how to drift, and then the plan would be for me to do a drift and wash in the next week or so of the Cream S13. And I'll complain about all the jank.
Jeffrey McNall Jr. says, when are you guys going up to Helen next? We need more cinnamon roll content.
February 28th?
Yeah,
Is this a leap year? 29th?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going on the 29th.
Let's see. Mike McCullough says, just got a new house. I'm looking for an RO system. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, check out Echo, ECHO, and I'm considering doing their RO into their hydrogenator. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking about.
Oh, man. Mazzy Scar says, I started following after hearing you on Tom and Dan.
Nice.
Love the channel. Nice.
Yeah, Tom and Dan. So I started listening to Tom and Dan on the Monsters in the Morning, and probably 2003, something like that. And then obviously, without them on the channel, on the show, it's terrible. So I transitioned over to obviously being a supporter and listener of their podcast. And then one day, I think when I had like 100,000 subscribers, I reached out and said, "Hey, I'm local. Can we do some sort of collab?" As a fanboy. And so now we text all the time. It's great.
Troy wants to know, are you able to disclose if the winner chose the cash or the garage remodel?
Oh yeah, so he lives in the Austin, Texas area, outside of Austin. So we're going to be traveling there. He owns a really nice house currently, but he's building an even nicer house down the street. So he's going to go through the whole design process. We're going to probably be doing it, I would guess, December, January, something like that. So sorry, you guys are gonna have to wait, but it'll be worth the wait because it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a 4-car garage. I think he'll probably end up spending quite a bit more than the $85,000 that we have earmarked. Depending on, I don't think he wrenches a lot, so they're gonna be a lot of just making it look really good. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're going to keep you in the loop once a month or so on the planning process and sit down and show you how do you put together something like this garage and how do we select things. And I'm going to also probably talk him into doing some lighting and appliances and stuff in the house and really walk him through some of that stuff too.
I guess Chad can hear what's going on in the background. He says, as a car guy, how can you just sit there and not watch the LZ crew rip it up like they are right now?
You become desensitized to it,
It's not quite 24/7, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's actually not as much as you'd think.
Let's see, we've got 3 super chats here.
Oh, nice.
First, Obsessed Mobile Detailing, $4.99. I would love to see a Hex video on how you manage your income, such as paying bills, savings, expenses, etc. At 28, I'm terrible at managing money.
Same here. That's Chris. No, one thing I will say, and I guess I could do an Inside the Hex video, I don't budget. Chris knows that very well. I don't balance my checkbook.
He couldn't tell you when payday is.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's a cool thing. That's such a cool thing to be able to do that. That have no idea. I used to, I used to spend way too much time and effort, thinking about that. It's different. It's hard to relate. I mean, maybe I could go back to what I used to do, because it's different when you have when you're doing tens of millions of dollars of revenue in a business. Your life becomes a bit unrelatable. Because I could never have understood how this all goes down, and dealing with cash flow and lean times and cash heavy times and dealing with that kind of stuff. It's a much different life. So maybe I can go back and talk about what I used to do.
All right, let's see. 2 super chats here from Brian Corbett, $4.99 each. First, I want to thank you for saving me from buying a Giraffe Tools pressure washer.
Oh, yes.
Your video dropped while mine was in the mail, and I returned it immediately.
Smart.
So thank you for that.
Complete garbage.
The Giraffe vacuum is on its way too, by the way.
Oh
for our
gosh,
testing.
I don't want that.
Then a second super chat, but I'm also upset with you because now my wife is obsessed with getting Speed Queens for our new house to replace the GEs.
You know what's cool? They're now going to be they're available in black. Makes them look a lot more modern.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. Those are nicer.
Yeah, you need Speed Queens.
Any built Hamber update? Christopher Dede wants to know.
We're finalizing the first container, and I'm hoping we'll have a decision by this week of when our pre-order is going to start. And so the first 4 products will be touchless, built Hammer clay bars, the Atomac for rust inhibiting, and then the new glass cleaner. I forget what it's called. He keeps telling me what it's called, but I forget what it is. So it's brand new. So we're going to bring those over.
X86 Dual Booter says, I had massive problems painting over the same boards that you just painted over. The knots bled every 2 or 3 months. It didn't matter if I used oil-based primer and paint, it still turned brown on the knots. Wondering how this is different. I've tried everything.
So first thing, this is 23-year-old wood, right? Old wood. Secondly, it's polyurethane. The polyurethane is the difference. So you got cured, hard as a rock polyurethane. But the problem with polyurethane, nothing sticks to it. And so that's why they have to use that nasty oil-based primer. So the knots aren't going to bleed through because there's a layer of polyurethane over the pine. Otherwise, and that's part of the deal. And so you have to put some sort of lacquer type finish over the wood to keep it from, bleeding through. So we won't have knots bleeding through because of that, because of the, the polyurethane difference. Otherwise, if you're just, you're trying to paint base wood, they're going to come through. And so I'm sure there's a way to do it. I mean, think about all the things that are painted that doesn't happen. But it won't happen here. It didn't happen at my house at Woodgate. The house, I think we painted it 10 years ago. It still hasn't bled. It's because of the polyurethane.
Eric Sanchez says, hey Matt, I think it's cool that you recognize areas of improvement with regard to how you approach this LZ project, but give yourself some grace. Most of us here know you and understand the comments.
Yeah, I'm not beating myself up over it, but I want to get better. I'm always chasing better, at everything. That's the whole point. That's my whole darn existence. And so getting better is part of what I'm experimenting with. And there are periods of improvement and periods of decline, hopefully more improvement than decline. But this is the first time in my life I feel really present. And so I've been doing a lot of work, years of therapy, years of learning about who I am, years of business coaching, and then of course this latest 5-pronged plan of getting healthy and fit, and then figuring out I have a B12 deficiency, figuring out that folic acid is a real problem for me, cutting out refined and enriched flours, and so I feel, I don't know, it just feels different when somebody makes a comment and it's a well-written comment, then I just hear it more.
Let's see, Rainier says the kitchen area is going to be amazing. I'm just curious about Adam's cooking skills.
We were talking about, I want to get, what's his name? Brian Langstrom is a cooking channel I've been watching a lot. And I want to get him on the podcast if I can. That would be sick.
Craig wants to know, how is your ultimate human experience going? Any issues with doctors or products that are not working?
Yeah, we're live. So what do you guys have to do? Cut?
When you open the holes to the faucet and
Oh shoot, yeah. And that's the last thing you have to do? Is that the last thing you have to do?
here upstairs, we just waiting for the second time.
Gotcha.
That's right, and we go.
All right. What time are we at here?
2:57.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions left.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe like a
shoot.
little 5-minute interlude if you want.
Yeah, well go ahead. How long is it going to take?
A minute.
All right, go ahead, do it, and we'll pause and we'll come back.
All right, so we're going to take a
Yeah. I don't want to hold you up. We'll hold the 700 people that are watching up. We'll hold them up.
sadly, yes.
We'll take a break. Let me go get a drink.
All right. I see us. All right.
We're here.
Yeah, I lost some of the questions there and all that, but we're back.
You can get them back. They don't disappear.
Okay, that's as far as they'll let me scroll up, right?
What? We'll go to pop-out chat. There you go. No?
No, same thing.
And you have to click from top chat to in chronological order. Like that. Top. Live.
Interesting. Oh, that's all right. We still got plenty of questions, but
Anyway, we're
No,
back. Sorry,
sorry,
they had to
everybody.
drill the sink, and then we took the internet down for a minute to the. Steve's here dialing in the APs, dialing in the network for the house here, so we can have maximum performance.
FPS says, I love watching this awesome LZ project. I'm sure you will be happy to return the scissor lift to get rid of that stupid alarm. It's ringing in my head and I'm not even there.
Yeah.
Digo456, any plans to get Pro Slack cabinets in the store? I just saw them at Barrett Jackson. They're great and saw you tease them before.
Yeah, we were just talking about that this morning. We're putting in Mike W's, and we'll put them in Waba's house, and then we'll go from there to develop. I really like them. You know, they're the owner's cool. You know, the staff is great. You know, Megan, who I've met there. It's I think it could be our mid-tier cabinet line. Could be awesome.
Let's see, Jeff W. wants to know, although you have the Rivian, would you consider replacing the Raptor with an F-150 Lightning?
No, I'd like to replace the Raptor with a Gen 3 Raptor, just stock, just leave stock, fresh. But you know, I don't have any aspirations to pay over for one of them.
Our buddy Philippe says, I can't wait for OG Canada. We have some special OG Canada merch.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
We talked about the little maple leaf.
Heck
So,
yeah,
oh,
100%.
all about that.
We just need you guys to get a new government so they don't screw me up when I go there.
All right, let's get back to the ceiling discussion. From Brendan, tips and tricks on painting, and not just a ceiling, but like a black color in general. How to get even coverage. You touched on it with a previous garage winner, but curious how it turned out so well.
So, if you have a color that is difficult to do, the first thing you can do, the first line of defense to make painting easier is to do flat. You know, flat or satin, flat satin on trim. If you do a flat finish, it's easier to do. You know, when it dries flat, so you don't have sheen. But when you're doing something like black, what you have to do is back roll it. So you either spray it and back roll it, or you roll it, and then right after that you follow. You keep the roller, you know, keep product on the roller, and you're going to back roll in large sweeping motion. So you need to, you know, just sort of roll out the whole wall evenly to try to avoid the roller marks. And then, you know, obviously multiple coats can fix stuff too. But the first thing, and this is why I'm so adamant about this, just paint the walls flat. It looks much cleaner, fresher, and then it's easier to touch up. And stop this nonsense of washing your walls. Who the heck's washing? Have you ever washed your walls? No, you don't wash your walls. If somebody makes a mark on the wall, then what do? You go grab the paint bucket and you touch it up. And if you do that with a sheen, then you're gonna have to roll out the whole wall. Otherwise, you're gonna see all the paint marks, all your brush marks. So that's my tip.
All right, so we've talked about hoping to gain subscribers. Some of maybe Adam's subscribers might come over. So Simon here says, I have subscribed to Adam's channel. As I'm into most things car and maintenance, he seems like a level-headed, cool guy providing good content. I didn't know I was interested in drifting. So he's getting a couple of our subscribers as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's probably gotten more from us than I've gotten from him.
Mr. Tangy says, I love watching Mike and Mike content. When will Mike and Mike make a return to the show?
Well, we're already here. It's just Matt's here too.
Rainier wants to know, are you guys going to tell us the cost of the entire build at the end or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard because, again, we have a lot of weird pricing. I think all said and done, it'll probably be somewhere around $425, $430, something like that. But it doesn't really add any context because you couldn't do this for that. You know, you couldn't get this done for 400 grand. The original budget was 150, and then it went to 200, and then the budget was 350, and so I've blown through that. Not my fault. That's stuff that they chose. You know, they chose some other things that they upgrade.
Let's see. Here's a good question from Mike with regard to lighting. Is there a tool to determine how many lights you need for a certain space, similar to like Wi-Fi coverage on Ubiquiti's Unified Design Center?
Yeah, certainly. You can do lighting calcs. You can. We have software that we use for garages and stuff to do a calculation of, if you put X amount of wattage, X amount of lumens into a space, into an area, then at certain ceiling heights. And certain beam angle of the lights, what's your effective foot candle output, and then I like to target a ridiculous number. General conventional wisdom would say you target like 90 foot candles, and I like to target like 130. Let's go overlight it, and then we can just dial it back. That way, when you need the extra light, you have it available. And then to me, lighting dispersion doesn't really need a whole lot of calculation. You just look at the room and say, all right, where am I going to get shadowing? Where's the light need to be? And just kind of use your head. But yeah, Kyle and team, they do a lot of lighting calcs for areas to tell you how many lights. Generally speaking, you just look at the area and just think, well, if I have a bunch of 90 degrees, 90 degree light patterns, how many lights do I think I need?
Couple more lighting questions here. Steven says, I'd love to go with DMF, but at $200 plus per light, it's a bit out of budget.
Sure.
Will you offer similar packages of Cree?
Yes. Yeah, so you can hit us up now. We can get it for you. I might even have some of it in stock. So we need to get that built and make it available because those lights are so darn hard to find. And if you find them, you usually get the wrong frickin' one. And so, yeah, Cree CR6Ts, they're like 30, 40 bucks a piece, in comparison. And that's it. That's all you need. They come with everything you need, and you just pop it in. And they're easier to install too. You don't have to ground it. You just screw it right into the Edison adapter, and good to go. Boom.
All right. Frankie has a question with regard to these LZ lights that we just installed. Matt, I'm thinking about upgrading the lighting in my house. The question I have is, how long do these lights last? 50,000
hours, 10 years, something like that. I forget what the warranty is on them, but it's long. I'm gonna go look at the box. Yeah, I mean, forever. And it's one of those things that, again, if you're at the level, if you're buying DMF lights, if one of these lights craps out, you think Adam is gonna hit up DMF and warranty one of the lights? No, he's just gonna buy another one, or have an extra one on hand to swap out. Like I've had a couple of bad right out of the box. And if you're in a $20,000 project and you got a $100 light, you generally just eat it and move on. I don't have the time to be chasing down an extra light. I know that sounds ridiculous to some of you who are just starting out, but you're gonna have the beauty of these lights is you're a very, very low failure rate, if any at all, and they're gonna last for probably longer than you'll be in the house.
Patrick says, hey Matt and Chris, looking at dialing in my new work car. Okay. It'll be used for events all year long. Mm-hmm. How would you polish a vehicle with lettering all along the body? Tape, or just try not to brush it up?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably just put some loose, get our 3M Precision tape, the green stuff, and just don't cinch it down on there in case the lettering isn't put down very well, and I would just tape it, and you could even put paper over it and tape the paper. Just try to tape it nice and tightly. But that's what I do. Try to avoid it. A lot of vinyl stuff you can just polish right over, but I don't know if it's worth risking it if you don't want to have to redo it.
Let's see. Scott Mitchell wants to know if you have any thoughts on Easy Clean pressure washers made in Canada. Seem to have a huge commercial following and a wall mount option.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never come across those. It sounds like a brand. There's 1,000 brands out there that will kind of make pressure washers using cat pumps or something like that. But I don't know that brand.
All right, Kyle Long says, what is the must-have detail machine/product for 2024 to add to the shop?
Well, Mirka, the Mirka 3-inch.
If you got one of those already.
Built Hammer touchless. It's coming. I don't think Pete understands what's about to happen here. That he sold quite a bit of it, but man, this is going to really take off.
Let's see. Big Headed Jane says, I received my OG blend coffee and made my first pitcher of cold brew with it. I'm definitely in the pursuit of excellence after my first cup.
That
It's delicious.
sounds gross. I still don't condone anybody buying that crap.
We sold 500 bags.
Yeah.
500 bags?
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds good.
500 bags of black water.
NimJ1234 says, I've been following for years back when you originally linked up with LZ on YouTube. It's been awesome to see this project. I'm so glad it's finally painted.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, when we did the original garage of his, that was the first really quote-unquote garage design, and it kind of launched a whole side of the business. And so that's why I decided to do this. I'm like, oh, who knows where this takes us.
Let's see. Nelson says, do we have any nozzle updates on press-all bottles?
Yes, they're ordered and probably on the water here in the next couple of weeks. So we're 6-8 weeks out. They're going to be like, what, $4 a piece?
Yeah,
something like
$3
that.
or $4 a piece.
Yeah, they're like individually CNC made. But we're making it what it needs to be, not what it costs. And then hopefully over time, the cost falls.
Oleg says, what are your eating training routines? Asking for a friend.
So it's been great here at the LZ compound because there's nothing, I got nothing.
There's no temptation.
Yeah, I had a few polio string cheeses, and that was my only option, for a snack. So generally speaking, I think I've talked about this several times, but we'll talk about it again. I think because I think it might add some value for others that are trying to do what I've been doing and get myself in shape. So I like to work out in the morning now. I always used to love after evenings, but once you get in the routine, it just takes a while to get there. Like for the longest time, I feel like I couldn't put in a full effort in the morning because I don't know. When you're used to working out in the evenings for decades. It's kind of hard to make the transition, but now I'm definitely a morning workout person. But when I'm at home, or actually here, what I do is I usually get up around 7 here, and if I wake up naturally, I naturally wake up at like 7:15, something like that. If I'm working on my driving and stuff, I'll get up at 4 and go hit the gym and do it that way. But then that kind of messes up your night. You're kind of off schedule with everybody else that lives in the house. But so in a perfect world, I'd wake up naturally whenever the sun comes up. I don't like to have any window treatments or anything like that. When the sun comes up, I wake up and I I go fasted right to the gym. In this case here, I'm just going to work out right here, right now. And so I do CrossFit, and so I'm usually doing something gnarly. Like this morning I did an easy workout. I ran a mile. I came back, I did Annie, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 of double unders and sit-ups, which is pretty nasty on your, on your stomach. So that took me, I think I made even PR'd today. It took me like 650 or something like that. It's pretty decent time for being a longer torsoed. If you're like a girl and you can do double unders, you can mow through those a lot faster because I got a lot more torso distance to move in an ab mat sit-up. And then I cold plunged. And then I have my morning supplement routine, which I've developed. If you'd like it, I'll shoot me an email, matt@obsessedgarage.com. I'll send you my structure that I put together, watching a bunch of Andrew Huberman videos and Peter Attia and Gary Brecka, and put together a pretty decent system of supplementation. And I made 5 eggs scrambled with some truff hot sauce and a little bit of Parmesan cheese on that. And then I ate a couple of what are those things like carnivore beef stick thingies. I ate 2 of those just as a snack at noon, something like that. And then tonight I'll eat a Snake River Farms American Wagyu. It's probably like a 18-ounce, 20-ounce steak. So I'll eat just that. And then at night when I take my evening supplements, drink usually say the equivalent of like 16 ounces of whole milk, and that's it. And do that, and try to avoid the snacks, anything in between. and get up and do that again tomorrow. I also do mountain biking usually on Saturdays, like a hard, 1,200, 1,500 calorie type ride, which I think really sets me up for the week. And so I'm not doing that when I'm here, but at least once, twice a week, I like to get on the mountain bike and do a 20, 30 mile ride at maximum effort.
Lawrence D'Agostino says the Biltmore glass cleaner is called Traceless.
There you go, Traceless, thank you.
Michael Brando says, did you poly over the replacement wood that Mike used on the ceiling?
No, we didn't. So we may end up with some bleeding there. We'll test it out. We'll test out that the capability of that primer. We'll see. I think we're going to be good.
Let's see. Rick says, Swiss Trax flooring is top notch. I had crappy epoxy on previous homes that gave out. I now work on motorcycles, which beats up the flooring. Do you have any OG mats about 3x5 that are washable for us non-car guys?
Check out, these are more anti-stress mats, but Ian from Autofiber has some really cool anti-stress mats that I think he can build in whatever size you need. So check out, go to autofiber.com and look at the mats that he has on there. I'm not sure the sizing. I think he may only have one size, but if you reach out to him, he might be able to make you some stuff, and he knows that product pretty well. Check that out. The other thing you could do is, you really only want something. I think you would want something thicker. A horse stall mat's going to be a little too hefty for that, I think.
Ryan Nicholson says, hey Matt, I just started watching your channel about 8 months ago. Started from the first podcast all the way up to now.
Oh, wow.
I'm all caught up and I love the channel. You changed my outlook drastically for the better.
That's cool.
Thanks for saying that. Oleg says, does he take TRT? He got ripped.
No, I don't.
Just protein from you, Oleg. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, no. I'm afraid, I'm afraid of needles, so I'm not doing that.
Oh, you can't do it any other way?
I don't think so. I don't think you can do it effectively. Yeah, I've, momentous, there's a lot of empirical data that shows this is nonsense, but Huberman has suggested it, and there's some loose clinical research that shows that the Fedoja agrestis and Tangat Ali are two testosterone improving supplements. I'm just eating properly and working out hard, and I think your body can largely take care of itself. I think the part that people miss, and you require supplementation, I think a lot of times it probably comes from the lack of actual putting in maximal effort. If you're missing the maximum effort part, then I think that you could probably chemically miss out on some of the stuff you might need.
Service Plumbing, that's our buddy Chris, right? Wants to know,
Yeah, Chris, we're ready for you.
I was just about to say, he's asking timeline for plumbing, question mark.
How about right now? We're ready. So it'll be here today, I think, is the tub filler, but all the Argonaut stuff showed up. So we're ready to start install. The countertops are in all the rooms except for the kitchen. So the sinks are ready to do. So we're ready to rock.
All right, then he has a question here. He says, power steering hose blew off my truck. Fluid all over the edge. Any tips on products to clean it up?
Yeah, you need an all-purpose cleaner for that. Coach Chemi Green Star, diluted probably 4-to-1, would be helpful in cleaning up that. Using, because it'll foam up quite a bit and hopefully degrease that residue.
Jeffrey wants to know, will the old Raptor be given away?
No, I don't think so. I think it's too far gone. Then
he mentions the Snap-on dome. He's not here with us today.
Oh, shoot.
Jeffrey, unfortunately. Sorry. White Goodman wants to know, what are your thoughts on interior protection? I heard Matt say in a few interior vids it's BS. I'm converted, and in Matt's camp on not slopping a bunch of crap that adds sheen plus UV protection is proven BS.
Yeah. I don't see why, especially if you tint your windows, and even then, windows filter out like most of the UV issues that would cause, cracking and stuff, and 10, 15, 20 years down the road. So on leather, I think leather you need some sort of layer of protection, especially since you're sitting on leather. So leather can dry out, leather can get greasy, leather can get nasty, and so leather is a natural material. So I think you need something like You don't want to coat it. I don't like all these companies that are having you coat things because you can never remove that. You can't just polish it off like you can polish a coating off of your your paint. And so I don't know. I just listen to the leather people and the interior people, and so I don't find the need to put any kind of goofy crap on my dash or on my plastics or on that stuff. And so I like an interior cleaner like Griot's. Like I don't like Griot's interior detailer because it leaves something behind. I like Griot's interior cleaner, which doesn't leave anything behind, just a clean, flat, matte surface, the way it's intended. And so unless it's leather, I'm not a proponent, and I've found it never necessary to goop some crap on my interior. So I think that that's the way to go.
We have a super chat here from Andrew, $50 US.
Whoa.
You have any suggestions on which sonic torque wrenches to grab first, size-wise, 1/2 or 3/8?
Yeah, so I like to have slight redundant overlap, right? This is just the catalog shopper in me. So you need a 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, and then maybe 3/4 if you're a Porsche guy and you're doing center locks. But you can probably leave the 3/4 out because that becomes a specialized tool that you need for that specific task. So if I'm doing the smaller 1/4 inch, it's going to go from say 2 foot-pounds to 20 foot-pounds, and then I'm going to want a 3/8 to complement that. So I'm going to want from say 10 foot-pounds, so say from 10 foot-pounds to 80 foot-pounds, and then I probably want the rest of mine to be 1/2 inch because I'm going to use the 1/2 inch more often than not. And so the 1/2 inch, then I'm going to want probably 2 1/2 inch ones, say from, and I don't know the exact specs on the Sonic. We have it on our site. We have all the options, but I think that you would want to kind of just pick some overlap. And so then I want a big, hefty 1/2 inch, and I want like a more practical size 1/2 inch one. And so I'd want something, say 50 to 150 foot-pounds, and then I'd want a big boy that does. Yeah, so if you look at ours, I can tell you exactly what you'd want. So we're missing the 1/4. The 1/4 inch is always out of stock. So let's see, you got 10 to 50, 20 to 100. These are Newton meters, but same thing. And then 1/2 inch goes 20 to 100. Yeah, so I'd buy the 10 to 50 3/8. I'd buy the 20 to 100 3/8. So you have quite a bit of overlap there, but I have the 2 3/8. Let's see, how would I do this? 400 to 200, 60 to 300, 80 to 400. So I definitely want the 80 to 400.
1/2 inch.
1/2 inch. Mm-hmm. I want the 40 to 200. And I want the 10 to 50 3/8.
In that order?
Yeah, so no, yeah. So I would buy the middle 1/2 inch first, then the 3/8, then the big 1/2 inch. So you're, what is that, $1,000 worth of torque wrenches. But I really like the Sonics. The Stahlvelo that I'm going to be ordering are way better, but they're like, $1,800 a piece.
Let's see here. Jeff W. says, can you briefly explain how the Lutron switches / Pico system works, or how you configure it?
Yeah, so there's Caseta, which is the base system. Caseta can do up to 50 zones, or 50, not zones, devices. So one Pico is a device, one brain is a device, one repeater is a device, one motion sensor is a device, and so you can have up to 50 devices. So Caseta for a house like this wouldn't work. And so then you have to first decide the ecosystem because the brain or the chipset inside of it is different. So I can't use a Caseta on a RAW2 system, because I don't think you can. So we have Caseta, Then we have RAW 2 Select. RAW 2 Select allows you to do 100 devices on a single network or single system. Like my house, my 5,000 square foot house has like 120 different individual components. So I just chose some of the things to take off the network. Like some of my exhaust fans and some other like closet lights and stuff like that, where I took off the system. And I just added like a motion sensor to a couple of the closets, so they'd always turn off, and so they're not on anyway, so worrying about my all off. And so in here, we're gonna do RAW 2 Select. Then there's RAW 2, or RAW 3. So RAW 3 is slowly replacing RAW 2, but it hasn't really taken over yet. A lot of the devices are more expensive. They're not available yet. Unless you're like a platinum dealer with them, the RAW 3 stuff I found really, really hard to get. So in this house, we're doing RAW 2 Select, and the way that it works is, let's say these lights here. Oh, let's see where they can see. So let's say we have 2 different zones of lighting. Actually, no, that's 1 zone of lighting, the overhead lights in the family room area. So somewhere in the family room, there is a wire that comes to a switch, and there's actually in the family room, I think it's a 4-way. So there's 3 switches in 3 different locations. So with the Lutron system, we're gonna pick one of those locations to put the brain, the main switch. And it's called an RRD Pro. They're like $200. We have it on our site. So the RRD Pro, and then you pick your color, black or almond or white. Most people are gonna pick gloss white. So you have RRD Pro. How much is that thing? RAW 2 Selects, 8 amp smart switch. No. I thought they were like $200-something, so they're expensive. RAW 2 Select 8 amp dimmer switch. I think that's what it is. Scroll down. Yeah, RRD Pro. Let's see, 8 amp dimmer LED switch or RRD Pro. Yeah, that's an 8 amp, so that's a higher amperage. So we need an RRD Pro, which is somewhere on our site. Just type in RRD Pro. This is a good example of where we need to continue to improve. How do we not have RRD Pro on the darn frickin' site? All right, if you guys are listening, let's fix this. So anyway, the RRD Pro is the brain. That's the thing that goes, you have to run. In order for this to work, we need neutral, so you need the common wire, and so you need to use a neutral connection. So you have that's the brain, and then anywhere else you want to put it, you can put a Pico. So the Pico is just this little flat little remote control, and that Pico slides into a wall plate, like the Decora, like the regular wall plates that you put on the wall. And so to program that, all you do is hold the button down on RRD Pro, hold the button down simultaneously on the Pico, and it mates. And you can set up as many Picos on, I think, you can set up 10 Picos if you want on that one main brain switch. So let's say, for example, down here, we have 4 switches. One is the RRD Pro, and then we're gonna put 3 Picos somewhere else wherever we want to. And so that way you can control the lights from here. If you're walking from that hallway, from the pantry, from the interior walking into the house, and then we actually eliminate some switches. So oftentimes, if this already has, let's say 3 switches in this case, if it already has 3, you just put the blacks together and the whites together. Put the hot and the commons together, just hot it up, and then you're just putting a Pico on there. It doesn't need to be wired up. And then there's a brain. So on RAW 2 Select, there's a brain that has to be connected to Ethernet, and then you do repeaters. So this house, we're gonna do 2 repeaters and a brain. So the brain it has to be wired into the network, and then you would have your app on your phone where you could then set up scenes and set up rooms and stuff like that if you wanted to. You don't need to, but if you wanted to. And so in this house, we're gonna be able to say, "Hey Siri," she'll come up. So what I would say, let's see if we can turn off the lights. "Hey Siri, turn off all the lights in the Darlington home." So I just turn off all the lights on whoever's in there.
Hell's freaking out.
So you do have some home link type control. You don't have to set anything up. It just works. I almost never do that. I just get up and turn the frickin' light off. So really, really simple. You have the main switch, and you have the Pico. If you're in your garage and we have 0 to 10 volt, like the 0 to 10 volt Crees, you'd have a POW pack, you'd have an RRD, or you have a POW pack and a Pico, either or. You can, all you do is hold the buttons down for 6 seconds and they mate. Super, super simple.
It's on there. It's just under the Lutron Maestro about to select AM dimmer switch.
Okay, so it's not $200, it's $300. That doesn't seem right.
RRD Pro dash WH.
Yeah, that's not it. It's RRD Pro. That's an 8SDV, that's an 8 amp switch. You got something wrong here. So this is part of, when back to leadership, what we've been talking about is that, if I'm promoting this stuff, I need this engine of the 30-something people we have to improve, to chase, to make things better, to make things more understandable, to create packages to add value to the audience, to the people that are buying.
All right, Andrew, the guy who asked about the torque wrenches, said, "Thanks, Matt. I will have a 911 in my garage this year."
Nice.
I sent him the link there. Hey, Matt, I'm a big fan. Have you seen or what do you think of the new LG transparent TVs?
I saw the brief. I spent 0 time on it, but I think that's cool. We'll see how viable they are from a performance perspective. But right now, OLED is so darn good that it'd take a lot for me to make a change. But lots of tech coming, lots of cool things. I think that home theater is in real trouble with the advent of like Apple Vision. You can make a 400-inch screen in your room, put some headphones on. Maybe maybe they sell a chair eventually where you sit in the Apple chair where it, vibrates you like a subwoofer would or hits you in the chair. I think there's going to be ways to create that impact without being so requiring you to build a whole giant room.
Jose the Great wants to know any update on the lower pH brake buster.
No update, no. I need to get it. I keep saying I'm going to do something. I haven't done anything with it.
Rick Smith says, obviously in business you want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
How valuable is the knowledge and experience gained from these types of projects or a garage build?
Well, it's important. For me, money is a result, right? I don't lead with money. We don't talk about money first. We don't talk about sales first. That's like a much longer tailed conversation. That's a conversation at the end. So we do something like this, which garners interest, hopefully provides value, allows me to learn about products live with you on camera. The video's not live, but I'm sharing what I'm learning while the camera's there capturing it. And then the lesson I've learned, and that's the best way to market, is to be authentic in the moment and then sharing what I'm learning. And then certain people will honor the source of that information if they've heard it from here. And so I think that the aspect of money then becomes a result. And obviously you need to take it into consideration when you're, how much can you buy? How much inventory can you purchase? How much can I spend on advertising? How much could I invest back in the channel, buying cameras and hiring people and stuff like that? So it's obviously a significant part of the conversation, but I think if you lead with that, I think you can make a big mistake. You can lose some of the authenticity of it.
Couple new OGHQ questions. Matt, down the road when the new OGHQ is dialed, would there be a chance of the bays style car wash setup?
No, zero. I have no interest in that.
Right. And then James, big-headed James here, said, where is this question? Are there any plans of the new OGHQ to have an area where users can try the OG products? For the non-obsessed person, they may not have a sense of how much better it is.
No, I don't think so, because I'm telling you what to get. There's no reason to test it out. I'm frickin' telling you, this is what you need, this is why you need it, and I have a reputation that's worth something, that I don't lead people down the wrong path generally. And so I think, by the way, it's a great question. But the answer to that question is, I don't think that the testing, the trial, and all that is necessary, because when you're ready to buy it, I've already told you what to buy, and then you'll be delighted. So my philosophy is to provide you all this information up front, to do the vetting, to do the testing, to do the trial and error, so that you don't have to. And so then that oftentimes, more often than not, leads you down making an appropriate decision on what to purchase. And then, sometimes people get something like, I don't really like it as much as you do, Matt, sorry. And that's part of discovery. But think of if you bought 100 things that I suggested, and there were 3 or 4 of them you didn't like, if you didn't have me, how many, you would have had to buy 400 or 500 things to get those 100 things, You would have to buy a lot more stuff to try to buy and find the right thing, because that's what I've done up front. And so, a project like this affords me the ability to figure that stuff out.
KP wants to know, are there any Rivian modifications coming?
No, none, 0. That's staying bone stock. Oh, other than I'm waiting for the powered bed cover. That's the only thing.
Scott Taylor across the pond wants to know, what are the main differences between Beadmaker and OG Drying Aid? The cost to get drying aid to UK makes it a little more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, Beadmaker is good. I mean, Beadmaker's great. I never experienced this, but it's pretty common knowledge that Beadmaker does tend to create some sort of static, and I know they've worked on formulations to help improve that. Beadmaker also is a different application method. It requires a pretty thick layer in order to get some sort of cross-linking. So you have to use a lot more product, so you have to spray a lot more on. And then, so it's a bit more arduous of a process to apply and to make it work well. Whereas OG Drying Aid, which is Slipstream from B&B, is a true drying aid in that I don't have to spray a bunch of it on in place. I just spritz it, it'll flash. Beadmaker won't flash. You have to make sure you get it all off. And so the drying aid experience is a easier application process. The process is easier, and the finish, we found, it looks virtually identical. So one of the great things about Beadmaker is that kind of pop you get. It adds something, and so we're getting the same thing with Slipstream, with the OG Drying Aid, but without side effects of static buildup and without the side effects of having to use more product and having to make sure you get it all off.
Michael Magia says, hey Matt, hope everything is going well. The closets look amazing.
Yeah, wait till you see the next video. It's we're finishing up here today, so the final product will be the video, it's next week. But then it looks even better. I think the closets look even better when you get it all set up with all the clothes and stuff.
Ray Sweeney says, good day and good morning from Australia. Loving the LZ content, love the attention to detail. Keep fighting the good fight, Maddie.
Yeah, thanks. I'm doing it.
Let's see here. Chris says, good job, guys. I've loved every moment of the videos. Inspired me with my house and got me introduced to a lot of new products. Keep it up. Look forward to more transformations. Nice.
I think that's what it's about, introducing people to different concepts, different ideas, and then sending people down rabbit holes. And then oftentimes what my hope is, they don't need to go down the rabbit hole, they just follow the link. That's how we are in business. It's for the people that don't want to go down the darn rabbit hole. They just want to, just tell me what to get, Matt. Just tell me what to do. Buy this RRD Pro, buy this Pico, buy this Brain. Do that. And the better we can do at actually telling people, here's what it is. It may price you out, may be too expensive, may not be something you value enough to spend that much money on. But for me, it's not about price, it's not about how expensive something is, it's about the user experience, about making things excellent. We talked about the tip for the Press-All spray bottle. It's going to add a freaking boatload of money to it, but it needs to exist. And I'd rather have it than not. And so it's not about the money, it's about doing what's right.
Dr. Phil has joined us in the chat. He wants to know, is there an update on the cold plunge solution?
Yeah, so Tommy's, you can go and pre-order it now if you want on his site. It's on our site. It'll be on our site in the next few days. The renders look amazing. It's working great. What I do is when I wake up, I go turn it on. And I got 110 gallons in that big horse trough, so much bigger than a bathtub. And so I go out, I turn it on, and by the time I'm done with my workout, it's at temp. It's freaking sweet.
It's nice.
Yeah, the prototype's a little loud, the prototype's a little bigger, the prototype isn't what the final product's gonna be. And if you want one, so it's $3,000 is gonna be the introductory price, $29.99. It's called you can go look at coolcube.com, I think is the site. Coolcube.com, no, just Google search Cool Cube. Maybe it's Cool Cube something else.
It's not that one.
His site is so new it might not be searchable very well. Let me look at what he had set it up as. Let's see.
Some Rubik's.
mycoolcube.com.
Thanks, Rob.
And you just look at how cool that thing, the renders look. Yeah, look at that thing. Is that cool or what? Like, this is something that you would do, you know? $3,000, it's not $12,000, you know, or $11,000, and you could buy yourself some sort of thing or just throw it in your darn bathtub whenever you wanted to do it, and it's pretty sick.
Is that here?
Yeah. This is the first one.
Yeah.
He had like one on a piece of wood, and so the one that he built, he's been, scrambling to get it put together, and so we have that sucker now. It's freaking cool, man. And so, what I was saying is, this is a big risk here, and so we're gonna take people's money, we're gonna put it in a darn escrow account, right? And he's gonna go try to make the darn thing, and we hope he's got everything lined up. The fear we have with this, the risk that everybody's taking in this, is that what happens if he can't get it done in time where you think it should be done. So I think that the target would be launch, and then in August, first deliveries, the first batch, and then I think the price is going to settle in at $3,500 is his target.
Yeah, so just know what you're getting into. It's kind of like one of those Kickstarter deals.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. That the timing of it may take longer than we're anticipating. That's a big risk there. It's $3,000 that people are going to be taking a risk on. He needs the money in order to build the darn thing. He's just a dude, He's a young guy. He doesn't have any, he doesn't have like a, rich parent backer. So he's just a dude trying to make this happen. And I want it to exist, and so I'm trying to help him make it happen. I don't own any of it. I'm going to get paid for selling the machines, but just as a normal small margin for doing retail business.
George or Jorge wants to know, he's looking for a 5-inch cordless polisher.
Yep.
What's your go-to with knowing in the background the new Rupes is coming out soon?
Well, new Rupes should be here, or should have mine here shortly to spend some more time with it. Right now, Milwaukee is the tried and true for me. We'll find out about the Rupes here when I get my hands on having my own and polish a whole car or 2 or 3 with it. But, first thought is the Rupes is going to be my choice, but we'll find out. And Milwaukee is darn good.
Speaking of that, Raymond wants to know, did OG become a Milwaukee rep or a supplier? If so, how can a company do so?
Oh, good luck with that one, buddy. It took me 3 years of begging, pleading. My initial order was like $500,000. It's and then make zero money, and it's really hard to keep up with them because they're always changing products, so we always end up with old inventory. It's a really hard game to play unless you're really focused on it.
They change SKUs pretty often.
I just started developing a relationship. I went to SEMA, and I'd say who's in charge here, and I'd introduce myself, and I'd email and follow up afterward, and I begged and pleaded for years, and then finally got the right guy, and they let me become a dealer after probably 25 different conversations and planning, and so I was what, a $12, $13 million business before they let me in the door.
Jeff P79 wants to know, do you know of any dimmer switches that don't flicker red lights when an electric tankless water heater is in use?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the Lutron stuff would be good. You may have an older dimmer, even Leviton. That seems like a unique situation.
Yeah.
I would think that you probably just have older dimmers and newer LEDs that don't communicate with one another.
Simon says he likes our Real Man podcast desk here that we got set up. Waba thought of this idea.
You like that?
Milwaukee pack out.
Yeah.
More Milwaukee stuff. DBB wants to know, do you still like Uplift for desks?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I've had such great success with them. We use them in a darn warehouse. We're beating the crap out of them. I really like the commercial version. You have the commercial and you have the regular on their site. The commercial is just sturdier. But yeah, I've had really good success with them.
I'm offended, says, when will Toolgrid Hex Bits be in the store? Did you play with them yet? Thoughts?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it can be better. We did it in the Toolbox giveaway. They're coming. We have our own branded version of it. It'll be here shortly.
Let's see here. A couple more, then we're all done. This might get you fired up. This is a good one. Let's see, where'd it go? Dean says, I can't seem to find Yum Car's drying aid in your store.
Funny.
Yeah, Dean, we don't have that.
Ooh, Mike Sajecki got me the previous gen KDC X998, which was the flagship Kenwood receiver. So he got me one. Nice.
Jeff W. says, hope you can make it to the doctor soon to prove out all the hard work you've been doing, including all the supplementation. Keep up the great work.
So I booked my call with Gary Brecka on February 24th or something like that. And so I'm hoping we can, maybe he can do some more tweaking and get me super stable so I can go start doing the blood work and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's all we got for today. We appreciate you guys hanging in with us through the intermission.
Thanks everyone. This is fun.
We still have 439 people watching at this point. That's
nice.
Impressive. So thank you all.
We got to go back to work. Mike's down there working as usual by himself. Mike and Trevor are finishing up the hanging rods for the the closet, and then we'll start working on the Lutron system, electrical throughout the whole house. We got a lot of work to do to get this place done.
Next week, we're gonna do this again. You're gonna have.
Yeah, I think maybe we're trying to try to do this with LZ.
Okay.
So I'll interview him next week.
Sounds good.
We may do it over in his office where it's a little quieter. That's the plan.
All right.
And then we'll try to do something on his channel as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
See you next time.